You are working on code.org and you are in a section called Conditional Practice, Part 1. This is at the moment found in the AP Computer Science Principles sequence, but it could easily be found in some other course. So let's look at Conditionals Practice, Part 1. In this activity, you have 3 different apps that you can finish. So the apps, the user interfaces are already designed, and we'll look at each one of these and then we'll start coding one of them. And then if you code that one for practice, you can code one of the other ones on your own and make sure that you know how to do everything. And then if you want to code the third one, then you can do that. So I'm going to look just at the first one, which is called Mind Ease. It says build an app that helps users come up with activities to support their mental health. So when you click on Mind Ease, it'll come up like this, and here's the little app. And on the right here it says click the shaded bar below to reveal user stories for this app. And you'll see the 3 little faces analyzing user stories. It says when developing software, creators often rely on user stories, descriptions and needs from the perspective of someone using the app in development. They often try to take in as many points of view as possible so that the final product appeals to a wide variety of users. Of course, when you're building an app, you want a lot of users. Throughout these app development levels, there will be several user stories that will be shared and which will be translated into tasks for you to accomplish. Here is an overarching user story for this app. I sometimes struggle to come up with ideas for activities that help support my mental health. I need suggestions that are specific to my current mood and timing so that I can take better care of myself. So now we're going down to the Do This section. The app to the left is a completed version of the one that you will develop. Play around with the app to see how it works. Try entering different values to see how that changes the output on the screen. So I'm going to go and press Run. And then it looks like there's a button here, Suggested Activities. I'm going to click on that without even changing any of these numbers here. It says Mind Ease. Rate your stress level on a scale of 1 to 10. So I would say, well, just because it's just after the 2024 presidential election, I'll put it a number 4. Rate your happiness, or a 7. So let's put some values in. Rate your stress level on a scale of 1 to 10. I'll say my stress level is 4 today. Rate your happiness level on a scale of 1 to 10. I guess I'll say I'm at a 7 for happiness today. How much time do you have for Mind Ease activities? Well, at the moment I only have about 10 minutes. So let's see what our suggested activities are. Pick one of the following activities. Exercise. For example, jogging, dancing, cooking a favorite meal. I don't know how I could cook a favorite meal in 10 minutes. I guess I could do some dancing. I could do some jogging in place, but that's about it. Let's try some different numbers. What if my stress level is like a 10? What's it going to say? Pick one of the following activities. Yoga, listening to upbeat music, engaging in a hobby. Okay. What if my happiness level, what if it's really low? What if I'm only like a 2 for happiness? Suggested activities. Pick one of the following activities. Guided meditation, deep breathing exercises, journaling. Okay. How about if I have a lot more time? What if I have, I guess, 60 minutes is the maximum? Suggested activities. Here are 3 activities for you to try. Guided meditation, deep breathing exercises, journaling. What if I'm not stressed out? What if it's like a 2? Here are 3 activities for you to try. Reading a book, nature walk, practicing gratitude. So you can see that this app has 3 inputs and it has an event. So these are the three values you can put into the app, and this event causes the box to change down here. So with your partner, if you have a partner, discuss the following. What is the purpose of the app? Well, clearly the purpose of the app is to give you suggestions on some things to ease your mind if you are feeling stressed out or unhappy. Describe the functionality of the app. How do these design decisions fit the purpose? What are some inputs and outputs that aid in achieving this functionality? Well, the inputs are these three little drop-down menus, and the outputs are just this little box here. Describe the functionality of the app. So you can change these three numbers, and you can press the suggested activity, and based on these three numbers, it'll give you some different answers. Click the shaded accordion bar below to reveal helpful hints about how to navigate and complete these practice levels. How do these practice levels work? So click on the little arrow, and it says there are 7 practice levels, and you can see them up at the top here, that should be completed in order to complete the app. They are intended to be followed in order. Move from part 1 all the way to part 7. So there's part 7 right there. Therefore, as you move from level to level, make sure that you select Mind Ease selection on the choice screen. And it's showing how you're moving from screen to screen to screen. It's showing Ramen Radar there, which is no longer an app in here. It must have been at one time. The little link icon, this icon means that this level is part of a larger project. Changes will be saved across multiple levels. So whatever you do in level 2 is still going to be there in level 3, and what you do in level 3 will still be there in level 4. And if you go back to level 1, everything is still there. It's one project you're working on. As you move through each level, the code you create, alter, or remove will travel with you. That means as you write code and implement cool features in your app, you will be building on the work you've previously completed. You will see a pop-up on the levels that will alert you about the shared code the first time that you visit the level. Okay, so let's move on to level 2. So level 2, it says continue working through the development sequence with the app that you chose in the previous level. There's a sequence of 6 milestones associated with this practice activity. If you want to change apps, please start back at milestone 1 in order to follow the development sequence. I'm going to go back to 1 for a second, and I should have pressed on finish, because when you press finish, it'll bubble in green, and whoever can see your progress will be able to see that's bubbled in green. So I'm going to go into Mind Ease milestone 1. It says set up the variables necessary to create the app. So I'm going into Mind Ease milestone 1, and I'm going to adjust the window here just a little bit. I'm recording at 1280 by 720 so that people who have smaller screens can see everything. But I'm just going to adjust. We don't really need to see that top bar there, and we do need to see some of the stuff closer to the bottom here, so I want just a little more screen space. A larger screen is certainly nice when you're using the code.org in these programs. Okay, assigning values to variables from user input. So in other words, we're getting user input here, and we're assigning the values, these numbers, to variables. So let's look at our user story, analyzing user stories. I need to be able to use the drop-downs. Here's the drop-downs, and they have names. You can see this one is called stressed row. It's actually drop-down. This one has ID happiness, drop-down, and this one has ID time, drop-down. So you can't really see them really well there, but you can see them. I need to be able to use the drop-downs on the app screen to input information into the app. Right. So our goal is to get this information to be saved by the app. Like right now, it's not really saving any of the information. It's just changing the number, but that isn't really saving it. The milestone that you are accomplishing on this level is directly related to the user story seen here. By completing the tasks below, we will have accomplished the milestones and provided a new feature for the users. Do this. Milestone 1 of 6. Tasks. Look at the elements on the app screen, to get a sense of where the user finds information. We find the information. Look at through lines 1 through 7 to see all the variables that will be used in the program, and think about which ones will be directly updated by the user input. Well, let's see. Stress, that's probably the stress number here. Happiness is probably going to go to that slider there. Time is probably going to go to that slider there. Time text, that must be something that goes down in the text box. Stress level, not sure what that is yet. Happiness level. I mean, that sounds like we're taking the number from stress and giving it like a level or something. Activities text, that one is showing a little text box is being assigned, like a blank line. So perhaps that's some text about what activities. Okay, I'm going to slide to the next direction. Get the needed user input values and assign them to the appropriate variables. Well, if we see the word get, that means we're going to be using a particular command in the UI controls, which is called get. See, there's a get text and there's a get number. So get the needed user input values, so we're getting the numbers, and assign them to the appropriate variables. Okay, so we're going to be getting like this number and assigning it to stress. Use the X equals button, the assign X button, or block. I should have said block. So the assign X block, and when I put my mouse over that, on the bottom of the screen down here, I can see that it's even giving me like little directions on how to read about that. So here's my assign X to the assigned user input for the stress level to the variable stress. So we're going to use the X equals block and the get number block to assign the user input for their stress levels to the variable stress. Like this, stress is equal to get number, parenthesis, quotation mark, stress dropdown, quotation mark, parenthesis, semicolon. Show me where. And then we're going to follow the same pattern for the variables happiness and time. Okay, so let's show me where. And this little start here pops up. We're inside the on event. The on event happens when the suggest button is clicked. So when this suggest button is clicked, we're going to do first milestone 1, get the needed user input. I'm going to close this toolbox here so we can see the line. I'm going to click the X here so we can see this. And I'm going to minimize the debug so we can see a little bit more. I want to have my directions up here, but I don't need quite that much space. And I'm wondering if I can pull this down just a little bit. We don't really need to see that stuff at the top. And I'm going to scroll this down a little bit so we can see just a little more of the screen. There we go. Okay. So use the X equals. All right, I guess I have to go back to the X equals. Oh, is it already in here? I'm going to go to version history, and I'm going to go to start over. There we go. So I didn't intend for that to be in there. So I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to minimize that. And scrolling down just a little bit. Apologies for having that in there. I was looking at this yesterday. Okay, so there's the exact direction. So it says milestone 1, get the needed user input values and assign them to the appropriate variables. So I'm going to scroll up a little bit. So I need to get stress. I'm going to look at the stress dropdown. I'm going to use the get number command and I'm going to assign that with the equal sign into the variable stress. Okay, so let's see, I need to open the toolbox, and I'm going to grab a variable, assign a variable, which is just an equal sign. I'm going to put that right there. We're going to need to get the number out of this box. When the user presses suggest activities, we want to get the number out of this box. So I need the get number block. So that's under UI controls, get number. I'm going to pull the get number over. I'm going to put it just here, not over here. Notice the difference, which one's yellow if I go back and forth here. We want it on this one. And we want to get the number from the stress drop-down. It shows it right here, stress drop-down. So let's see if I can click on this little arrow. It shows all the objects that are on the screen here. So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 objects. And stress drop-down. Oh, there it is. And we want to assign that to the variable stress. Okay, we already created a variable. A variable has been created called stress. And instead of assigning that into X, we're going to type or copy and paste stress. Okay, so far so good. Follow the same pattern for the variables of happiness and time. Okay, so I need to go to variables. I'm going to grab the assign a variable block, put it right underneath. I'm going to go to user interface controls, UI controls. I'm going to grab another get number. I'm going to put the get number in this second little space after the equal sign. And then I'm going to find, well, what's the get number called? What am I doing here? I'm doing happiness. Okay, so get happiness, happiness drop down. There it is, happiness drop down. And whatever number is in there is going to be assigned to happiness. So I'm going to type happiness instead of X. And let's see, we need to do time also, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to variables. I'm going to assign a variable. So that's going to become our new line 14. And I need to get a number block. Get a number. And I'm going to put that into the right-hand side of the assignment. And let's see, this is called time dropdown. So I'm going to do time dropdown. There it is. And then I'm going to assign that to the variable time. Okay, so it looks like it should be right. I'm going to close the toolbox because we've got all our stuff that we need. I'm going to scroll it up just a little bit so we can have a look at it. So we've got 3 variables that are being assigned numbers from these 3 boxes. So whatever the numbers are in these 3 boxes, these lines get those numbers, and those numbers are stored into these variables. If we go to show text, it's going to show it exactly the same. And if I zoom in on that a little bit, you can see it just says time equals get number, parenthesis, quote, time drop down, quote, parenthesis, and then the semicolon. And each line is basically the same as that. Okay, zooming back out. I'm going to go back to show blocks. And let's see what the instructions say after this. Test your code. Note, you can click on the tests below to expand them to see more specific instructions. Add the variables you assigned values with your code to the watcher area. So where's the watcher area? The watcher area is down on the right here. I'm going to have to pull this up a little bit so you can see it. So there's the watchers. So I'm going to stretch this up. And so add the variables you assigned values to with your code to the watcher area at the bottom of your workplace. You can expand this area by clicking. Now there's a little button called show debug commands. Oh, debug commands right there. Oh, I see. So there's a little video. Let me stretch this down a little bit. So there's a little tiny video that's showing that you can type in stress and oh yeah, it's showing it going up and down. So it's showing this. Oops, I don't want to pause that. Unpause. Stress, typing in stress here. And then what were our other ones? Happiness and time. Okay, so I'm going to pull that up so I can see all three. Maybe I need to pull that up a little bit. These three little dots allow you to resize the windows a little bit. Okay, so now what? When running the program, you should be able to use the drop-downs on the app screen, here's the app screen, to assign values to the variables, and those values should be reflected in the watcher area once you click Suggest Activities button. Alright, let's see if it works. I'm going to do 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to click Run. 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and press the Suggest Activities button, and these watchers should show 5, 6, 7. Let's see if it works. 5, 6, 7. What if I change them to 8, 9, 10? 8, 9, 10. Suggest activities. 8, 9, 10. There they are. Is there anything else for this level? No, we've finished this level. Okay, so we can click on Finish, and then we can go on to the next level. So we just finished milestone 1 of 6. So I'm going to click Finish. Are you finished with App Lab? You're in control. It's up to you to check your work and decide when you're done. Okay, so I'm going to click Continue. Did I like this puzzle? I did like this puzzle. Okay, Continue. So now we're back to Conditionals Practice Part 1 slide, and we need to click Finish because we're done with this second bubble here. Let me show the bubbles that we're on. Finish. Alright, Conditionals Practice Part 3. Part 3. So continue to work on the development sequence for the app that you chose. So we're going to go back into Mind Ease. Now we're going to do milestone 2. It says create a conditional statement. That's like greater than, less than, is it equal to, is it not equal to help suggest activities based on how much time a user has. So we're looking specifically at the time number. So go ahead and click on Mind Ease, milestone number 2. And I'm going to adjust my screen again a little bit to get this out of the way. I think I can get that out of the way. And I'm going to minimize our debug window down here for the moment so we can see a little bit more. I'm also going to close our toolbox for a moment. And I'm going to scroll down. And if you look, milestone 2 code goes right underneath milestone 1 code. And then when we get to milestone 3 and 4 and 5, all that code is already, like there's already these comments in here. So we could look at the comments and see what we're meant to be doing. Using Boolean expressions. Remember, Boolean expressions are ones that have true and false answers. So okay, now we're ready to look at these Boolean expressions. The Boolean expressions, remember, are true-false expressions. And let's take a look at what our analyzing user story is. I want to get different guidance depending on how much time I have available. All right, that makes sense. So when we run this, if the time is a really big number, like 60 minutes, we should have different answers than if our number is really small, like 1 minute. I want to get different guidance depending on how much time I have available. Remember that this user story is used to create the milestone that we're trying to achieve. So here's the milestone. Milestone number 2 out of 6. here's our task. For users with 30 minutes or less of time, tell them to pick one activity. For others, tell them that all 3 activities are for them to try. Show me where. I like how there's this little show me where link. Just click on it. And we're going to scroll down a little bit. Milestone 2 says start here. Milestone 2. For users with 30 minutes or less of time, tell them to pick one activity. For others, tell them that all 3 activities are for them to try. Notice there's already an if-else block here, and there are already blocks that say time text equals blank for the true and the false case. Now let's see if it gives us a little more direction. It says use the less than or equal to replace the true value in the if statement like this. Time is less than or equal to 30. So it says we're going to use this to replace the true. So we're going to open our toolbox and we're going to go to math. We're going to find the less than or equal to. We're going to replace the true box. Oh, and that replaced the true box. Okay, so that's good. And then we're going to put time is less than or equal to 30. So we're typing in the word time into this little box, less than or equal to 30 in that little box. Use the assignment block to assign the value of time text, we're looking right here on line 20, to pick one of the following activities, :\n. I wonder if we can copy, oops. So I'm going to try to copy that. I don't know if it'll work or not. I'm not having much luck. But if you could copy that phrase, then maybe you could paste it right here. I'm just going to type it after I close this toolbox. Okay, so I close the toolbox. Pick. Why is it not typing? Maybe I don't have focus. Pick one, all caps, of the following activities, : the backslash is above the enter key, and then n. That'll make a new line when the Boolean expression is true. So if this is true, the time is less than or equal to 30, then this is going to be assigned to the time text variable. Notice it's not printing out yet, because to print out, it has to go into the text output box. So that must be a later milestone. It's probably down here somewhere. But we're still working on milestone 2, so let's focus on that. Now, what if the time is not less than or equal to 30? What if it's 31, 32, all the way up to 60? Scroll down a little bit. In the else section, assign the value of time text to, here are 3 activities for you to try. Here are 3 activities for you to try. : \n for a new line. All right. What's next? Test your code. Yes, we have to test the code, make sure it works. You can click tests below to expand them to see more specific instructions. When you hit suggested activities, so I have to run it, you should be able to see to use the time drop down to test the correct streaming appears at the bottom of the app. Okay, let's try it. I'm going to change the time to 6 and click suggest. Oh yeah, there it appeared right there. So there must be a print, not print, but there must be a command to take whatever's in time text and put it in there. So where is that? Oh, here it is. Line 62. Set the text of the text output box to the time text plus activities text. So apparently there's nothing in activities text yet. All right, let's change this time so it's exactly 30 and see what it does. Nothing. Let's change it to 31 and see what it does, because that's the next number. Here are 3 activities for you to try. Are we supposed to have capital 3? Or is it just, no, just 3 activities for you to try. Okay, and then, so we tested that. How about if it's like 60? I'm just trying to see, like, yeah, that's the same thing. If I go back to 30, it should still say 1 activity. Okay. Oh, there's a little arrow here. For example, if you select 20 from the time dropdown, you should see, or whichever string you choose, if you select 45. Yeah, so we did see that, and we did see that. All right, we have successfully finished this level, milestone number 2, which is in bubble number 3, which is kind of interesting. Let's click Finish, and then let's click Continue. So here we're still on bubble number 3, part 3, conditionals. Click Finish again, and it should take us to part 4. All right, part 4. Let's see what part 4 says. Mind ease, milestone number 3. Create a conditional, greater than, less than, that will assign a happiness level for a user. Okay, let's try it. Writing if-else statements. If-else statements. So we are working on, I'm going to scroll down because I know we're on milestone 3. There's milestone 3. I'm going to close this little box here, toolbox. Milestone 3, for users who rated their happiness higher than a 5, assign the variable happiness level a value of high. For others, assign happiness level a value of low. Okay, now let's look at the user story with the 3 little people here. Click on the triangle. I want to get different guidance depending on my happiness level at the moment. Okay, that makes sense. Why else would you have the happiness indicator, or the scale, if you didn't want different results? Do this. For users who rated their happiness higher than a 5, assign the variable happiness level. Oh yeah, that was one of the variables. We looked at that earlier. There it is, happiness level. It hasn't been used yet, which is why it has the little yellow triangle next to it. Scrolling back down to milestone 3. A value of high. So happiness level is assigned the value of high. For others, assign happiness value a value of low. Show me. So I'm going to click Show Me. It skips down to line 25 and says Start here. Okay. So I said show me where. Use an if-else statement and greater than blocks to create an if-else statement like this. Oh, and it's showing the whole thing. So I need, let me see if I can minimize this and then make this a little bit taller. So this is what I need to start with. Why do I not have focus there? Okay. So, toolbox. I'm going to go to the toolbox. And I need to find an if-else statement. So that's blue under control. And there's my if-else right here, if-else block. I'm going to put that on line 29. And we're going to use the greater than to set if happiness is greater than 5. So that's a math because it's orange. We're going to find the greater than. There it is. Greater than operator. Tests whether a number is greater than another number or returns a true or a false. We're going to put that right there inside the parentheses for the if statement. And we're going to type in happiness, making sure to spell it exactly right. and if happiness is greater than 5. Okay, so far so good. So, use the assignment operator, x equals, to assign the value of happiness level to high when the above Boolean expression is true. So if it's true, if happiness is greater than 5, for example, if happiness is set to 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10, then it'll do whatever is immediately underneath. You can see this little black blinking marker here. In the else section, assign the value of happiness level to low. Okay, so we're going to find the assignment operator is x equals, is called assign a variable. We're going to drag it over. We're going to put it just there. And we're going to assign the value of happiness level to high. So happiness level, make sure to have a capital L, no spaces, to high. And it needs to be in quotation marks because it's a string. The high needs a capital H. All right. In the else section, assign the value of happiness level to low. So we need another assignment block. And we're going to set happiness level with capital L to low inside quotation marks. Perfect. Now let's test your code. Now you may click the test below to expand them and see more specific instructions. Add the happiness level variable to the watcher area. Okay, I'm going to squash this up a little bit. And I'm going to scroll this a little bit. So we're going to add that to a watcher, so we need to open this up for watchers. Looks like our watchers that we had in there earlier are gone. So happiness level, spelled with a capital L, plus sign, to add that as a watcher. Right now it says undefined. I think if you put your mouse right here, it makes a double arrow and you can pull to the left so that you can see the whole word undefined if you can't see it. So we did that. We added a watcher. Oh, there's a little triangle so we can see exactly how to add a watcher. It's showing how to add a watcher right there. Except it's showing the little video we saw earlier where it was putting stress in. When running the program, use the happiness drop-down on the app screen and watch that the appropriate string is assigned to happiness level in the watcher area once you click the Suggest Activities button. Okay, so use the happiness drop-down. So we've got to run it. Use the happiness drop-down. Let's see what's underneath this. I'm gonna close this one because that video is like a little bit distracting. I'm going to open this one by clicking on the triangle. If you select a value above 5, you should see happiness level equals high. Okay, so I'm going to choose a value above 5 for happiness. 7. Suggest activities. Oh yeah, it did turn to high right here. If you select a value below 5, you should see happiness level change to low. So this should change to low when I press Suggest Activities. Yep. I'm going to go back and forth. I'm going to try 10. High. I'm going to try 1. Low. I'm going to try 8. High. I'm going to try 5. 5 is high. Oh, I put it on 6. 5. Oh, there we go, low. Okay. So we are done with this milestone. Good job. So I'm going to click Finish and then Continue and then Finish because we're done with part 4. Okay. Milestone 4 in Bubble 5. Okay, milestone 4. Create a conditional that will assign a stress level for a user. This sounds like the same it was for the happiness level. So we're going to go into that. If else statements. So that would be a statement that has at least 2 ifs in it. Analyzing user stories. Opening that up, I want to get different guidance depending on my stress level. Well, that makes sense, because why else would you enter stress level if you didn't want different answers? Do this, milestone 4. You can click the instructions below and expand them to see more specific instructions. Tasks. Categorize the stress level based on the user's reported stress. For users who rated their stress at 7 or higher, assign stress level a value of high. For those who rated their stress 4 through 6, assign stress level a value of medium. For others, assign stress level a value of low. Okay, and we have little triangles here, so we can open those. I'm going to minimize the debug console to have a little more space. I'm going to close the toolbox just for a moment, and then I'm going to click on this little triangle to look. Use the greater than or equal to replace the first true value in the if-else statement like this. Okay, so show me where. I don't see the blinking show me where, but it must be, oh, here it is, start here. Milestone 4. Categorize the stress level based on the user's reported stress. For users who rated their stress at 7 or higher, assign stress level a value of high. For those who rated their stress level 4 to 6, assign a stress level of medium. For others, assign a stress level of value of low. Okay, so this is like very much the same as the previous thing we did. So we want stress level, a value of high, if their stress is 7 or higher. So it says use the greater than or equal to replace the first true. So we're going to open up, go to orange, find the greater than or equal to. Where is it? Greater than or equal. There it is. And we're going to replace the true. So on line 43, that gets replaced. And we're going to, for users who rated their stress level at 7 or higher, oh, and it shows right here, stress is greater than or equal to 7. So we're going to put the word stress greater than or equal to 7. Okay, stress level, we're supposed to give it a value of high. So we're going to type high right there. Okay. Next instruction. Assign a value of stress level to high. When it's true, we did that. For those who rated their stress level between 4 and 6, assign a stress level a value of medium. Okay? So use the, I opened up the instruction using the little triangle. Use the greater than equal to replace the second true value, so that would be this one on line 45, in the if-else statement like this. Stress level is greater than or equal to 4. I'm going to try to just type that in rather than dragging the block over. So I'm going to backspace so true is gone. A nice thing about these blocks is if you're inside of a space, it will not let you keep backspacing. So I'm going to press stress, space, greater than equal to, space, 4. Now I'm going to click out of that. I wonder if it'll make the orange block when I click out of it. It did, like instantly. Okay. Let's see what else we've got. For those who rated their stress 4 to 6, assign a stress level of medium. So we need to put the word medium right here so that the stress level has the word medium saved into it. And we're going to scroll down a little bit. Assign the value of stress level to medium. We did that. For others, assign the stress level a value of low. So let's see what the little arrow shows. In the else section, assign the value of stress level to low. So stress level equals low. Okay. Test your code. Add the stress level variable to the watcher area at the bottom of your workspace. Well, we know how to do that. So we're going to open up our debug console. We're going to go over to watchers. We're going to type stress level with a capital L. I wonder if we press enter if it'll go in. Yep. So you can press enter or you can press the plus sign. So we added that. Click the suggested activities button after using stress dropdown on the app screen and watch the appropriate string is assigned to stress level. Okay, let's see what little directions it gives us. If you select a value 7 or above, you should see stress level high in the watcher. So we're going to run it, set the stress level to 7, suggest activities. Yep, and stress level down here changed to high. How about if we put in 9? Suggested activities, still high. Okay. If you select 4, 5, or 6, you should see stress level medium in the watcher. Okay, so I'm going to try 4, suggest, medium, 5, suggest, still medium, 6, suggest, still medium. I'm going to try 7 just to make sure 7 is working. Yep, it goes to high. If you select a lower than 4, you should see stress level low in the watcher. Okay, so 4 is medium, but if I go lower than 4, 3 is low, 2 is still low, and 1 is low. So we have our watcher working. When we select our stress level, it takes that number and it gives us a word assigned into the stress level. All right, we're done with this level. Let's finish it. Click continue. So that was milestone 4, which is bubble 5. So we're going to click on finish. That'll take us to bubble 6, which is milestone 5. And it says create recommendations for users based on their happiness and stress levels. Okay, so we're going to click into that. And here we go. If else statements. Analyzing user stories. Okay, we got to open that with a little triangle. I want the recommendations to be influenced by both my happiness and my stress levels. Okay, so the recommendations have to take into account the stress level and the happiness. Do this, milestone 5 out of 6. Tasks. According to the table below, display the appropriate activities to the user depending on their stress level and happiness level. Stress level, happiness level. Suggested activities. If stress is high and happiness is low, we're going to type guided meditation, deep breathing exercises, and journaling. If both are high, we're going to type yoga, listening to upbeat music, engaging in a hobby. If one's medium and one's low, taking a long walk, sketching or painting, watching a comedy show. I'm not going to read the rest of these because we can read those on our own later. Here are the steps broken down a bit more. Use your the test your code section below as you go through each row of the table. For users with stress level of high and happiness levels of low, show them guided meditation, deep breathing exercises, and journaling. And I see there's a little triangle, so we're going to click on that. It says use if else and operator and equality operator to create an if-else statement like this. Oh, it's even going to show us. It shows us the whole thing. That's pretty cool. or this. So you could just type it. Show me where. Boom. Okay, milestone 5. I'm going to minimize the debug commands. I'm going to minimize the toolbox. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Milestone 5, start here. I'm going to clear that. According to the table below, display the appropriate activities to the user depending on their stress level and happiness level. Okay, well, and there's nothing else in this event other than just changing that text box. So we'll have to put it right here. Show me where. So we need an if-else block. So we're going to go show toolbox. We want control. We want an if-else. And we want that just here underneath these comments. Then we need stress level is equal to high, and we're using the and. So first let's grab the math and operator. So the and operator is right here. It has double and. It's called and Boolean operator. We're going to drag that and put it into the little box here, because two things have to be true. The stress level has to be high, and the happiness level has to be low. So stress level has to be high, happiness level has to be low. So we can put the equality operator on both sides. So I'm going to put one here and one here. And then we just need to type in stress level equals high in quotes. Stress level equals high. I'm going to press the tab key because the tab key will let you go into the next box. I'm going to close this toolbox because we don't need it at the moment. I'm going to press the tab key again. It's going to take my cursor over to here, or I could just click. Oh, actually it doesn't. I've got to click in the box. Happiness level. Make sure to spell everything perfectly. And then will tab work to go to the next box? Yeah. Quotation low. Okay. So if the stress level is high and the happiness level is low, then we're going to do whatever it says here. So let's see, what do we do here? We got all that. If we switch to show text, it should show us the text right there. So it should be exactly the same. Okay, I'm going to go back to block view. Assign the value of activities text to guided meditation, deep breathing exercises, journaling when the above Boolean expression is true. Now, is it going to show us how to do that, or we just have to remember? I think we just have to remember. So we use the assignment operator, which is the plain old equal sign. That is in control, I think. Nope, variables. There's our assignment operator. And we want activities text to be, I wonder if I can copy and paste that. I'm going to try. I'm trying to highlight that. On the keyboard, I'm going to hold down the CTRL control key, and then while I'm holding that down, I'm going to press the letter C. That should copy it. And then I'm going to click down here and do Control CTRL and then the letter V as in victory. And it pasted it in there, but it gave me a red flag. So it's giving me all these flags because I didn't use the quotation marks before and after that phrase. So I need to type in a quotation mark at the beginning, right there. And I need one at the end, right there. Okay, now the red flag should disappear, which it did. I wonder if I had been more careful highlighting, maybe I could have got everything. Yeah. Whoops. It's a little tricky depending on how you're using your mouse or touchpad to get that exact thing in there. Of course, you could type the thing in there. I think you can also right-click and copy, and then I'm going to erase this real quick. Backspace. And then I think you can right-click. Once your blinking cursor is inside there, it's hard to see, but once your blinking cursor is, you can right-click and paste. Oh, why isn't it letting me paste? I thought I copied. Let me try one more time. So if I right-click, copy, Control-C, click here, right-click. Yeah, it's not giving me the paste option. It's still Control-V, so I'm pasting it in there. Okay, let's look at for users who have a stress level and a happiness level of high, show them yoga, listening to upbeat music, engaging in a hobby. So let's open this up and see what it says. Expand the if-else statement to add an if-else statement. Oh, and it's showing, let me scroll that down a little bit. It's showing that we need to click on the little plus sign on the bottom of the if-else. So that's, let me see, it's right here. See where that plus sign is? I'll try to do it at the same time as the video up above. Okay. Click. There. Okay. Or like this. So you could do it by going to the text. And so it wants us to show stress level if it's equal to high and happiness level is equal to high. All right, so how did we do that before? Let's show our toolbox. We need our AND operator. So that was under math. That's got the double ampersand, double AND symbol. Put it right there. And then we need the assignment, not the assignment operator, but the comparison operator, which is the equal sign. I'm going to bring that over twice. So this is exactly the same as we did before. We could type this in also. I mean, it might be easier just to type it in. And so we need stress level. If stress level is high, stress level, we're going to close the toolbox. High. The high needs to be in quotation marks with a capital H. And this one needs to be happiness. I wonder if I can copy that. Oh, I can. Copy. Control-C. Paste. Control-V. I seem to have an extra space right there. Can you see the little extra space? That won't make a difference, but because spaces aren't read by the computer if they're between words, but I'm going to take it out anyway by pressing the backspace. And then high, I'm not going to copy paste that because it's only 4 letters, 5 characters with the quotation marks. And, oh, there it is. Stress level is, if stress level is high and happiness level is high, assign activities text, yoga, listening to upbeat music, engaging in a hobby. So I think I could just, I can't really type it, can I? I need a block to type into. So I'm going to grab a variable, assign a variable block, and then activities text. I'm going to close this. Come on. It's not letting me type in the box. Let me try again. Backspace. I'm going to pause just for a second and check it. Okay, I'm not sure what was happening there, whether it was my computer or whether it was code.org, but it seems to be working now. I dragged that block out, and then I dragged the block back in, and then I seem to be able to type into the box. So activities text, and for this one it needs to say yoga, listening to upbeat music, engaging in a hobby. So I'm going to try to highlight that with the quotation marks. Control C to copy, click in the box, Control V to paste. Okay, that looks okay. Now what? Continue down the table showing the appropriate string to users with the corresponding stress level and happiness level. So let's open this up and see what that says. Following the same pattern as shown in the steps above, just change the Boolean expression and string assignment to the corresponding values for the table row you are working on. For the last row, you can utilize the else part of the conditional expression. Okay, so it's giving us some time and space to do this on our own. So let's close the instructions. And we already did high and low on line 58. We already did high and high on line 59. These are like the comments. So let's add another plus. And then we need to put in the AND operator from the toolbox, math, and we also need to put in the equal comparison operator on the left and the right. And then we can close that. So we need if stress level is, I'm looking at line 60 here in the comments. If the lines aren't exactly right, that means somewhere you have some extra code or something slightly different. So if stress level is equal to medium and happiness level is equal to low, medium and low, then, oh, is it not going to let me copy paste there? I'm going to have to type all that. So I'm going to use the purple assignment operator from variables, x equals, hopefully it'll work this time. It's really not going to let me copy that. That block is like, yeah, it's a single block. Oh, I guess I could go to show text. That would be good. I'm going to go to show text. Will it let me copy this? Taking a long walk, stretching, watching a comedy show. Control C to copy. And then where would I need to paste that? I need to paste that. Let me go back to blocks and see if I can paste it right there. It worked. But I'm missing a quotation mark at the beginning, and I'm missing a quotation mark at the end. Whoop. Ooh. All those red dots are because I don't have the quotation mark at the end. So I need the quotation mark after the word comedy show. Quote. Yep. And then it's supposed to be assigned to activities text. Activities text. All right. And then I'm going to need to do that 2 more times. I wonder if there's a quick way to do that. Let's go to show text and see if there's a quick way to do that. You know, I think I could copy and paste line 69 and 70. Maybe I don't want to do it like that. I'm going to go back to blocks. There's a couple different ways to do it. I'm not sure for people watching the video what the best way would be, but I'll start by just adding a block. I wish I could just copy it. I wonder if you click on it, can you copy it? Can you drag? I'm sure you can drag it. That's not what I want to drag though. Uh-oh. Control Z to undo. Yep, there we go. Let's see if I can move this down to here. Oh no, Control Z to undo. How would I copy that? I'm going to try to right click. I wish it allowed me just to copy this block. It's not giving me a choice to copy the block. Control Z. Control Z is your friend because you can undo a mistake. Alright, maybe I can just type it in there. The next one, so we've already got one parenthesis, so I'll do a parenthesis, stress level equal, line 61 says medium, and sign, happiness level equal, high. And then if I click out of that, it should make it into blocks. Why doesn't it like that? Oh, I'm missing a parenthesis at the end. That's why. Parenthesis. It still doesn't like that. Why doesn't it like that? Let's go to show text. It looks okay. I think it's just that I think it wants one more parenthesis in there or something. Oh, I'm missing a quote right here. Okay. Show blocks. So that was a little bug. All right, activities text. So this one's supposed to say exercise and jogging. Okay. So I can't just write there. I'm going to go to show text. See how I have this space here? I'm going to write activities text equals quote, and then I'm going to copy this one here, exercise. So I'm highlighting, I'm holding down my mouse key, Control C to copy, or you can just retype it. And click there, paste, Control V. Looks like at the end of that line I would need a semicolon, so I'm going to put a semicolon down there, and I'm going to go back to show blocks. You could do this using the blocks. We've only got 2 more to go. Okay, come on, let's finish. We've got time. I'm going to do this one using the blocks this time. So show toolbox, math. Okay, we need the AND operator. We need 2 equal operators. Equality operators, I think they're called. We need to have stress level. What's it supposed to be for this one? If stress level is low and happiness level is low, oops, then, and I'll go back and grab the purple assignment text, then activities, it almost didn't type for me again, text equals reading a book, nature walk. Okay, I've got to go to show text to copy that. So I'm going to show text, I'm going to copy that line, copy, I'm going to go back to show blocks, and right there, paste. It's missing a quote at the beginning of the and the end though, so I have to put a quote at the beginning and the end before the word reading, quotation mark, and after the word gratitude, quotation mark, and else. Else. Well, else, it's just the socializing with friends. You don't have to do the low and the high, because if we've already done these other ones, that's all that's going to be left. Someone who had selected low for their stress level and high. So we just need an activities text here. So let me grab an assignment block, activities text, and then we can copy, if I can go to show text, socializing with friends and exploring, playing a game, and I could actually paste it right here. I'm going to put quotation marks, quotation marks, and then I'm going to try to paste it in between the quotation marks. There. And then going back to show blocks to make sure everything looks good. Something that does not look here. I wonder if I spelled something wrong. I did. Activities is not spelled right. That's why it has the little yellow triangle. See that? Good. Okay. So now we have that done. That's quite a bit of code there, isn't it? Instructions. Test your code. Click the suggested activities button after using the drop downs to test the correct string appears at the bottom of the app. Okay, so mind ease 8 run 8 8 20 and suggested activities. There we go. And we should be able to test that for all of those. And if something's not working, if you aren't getting the output on the app screen you expect, a good next step is to add variables to the watcher area. Most likely you want to add activities text. So we could do that right now. In the watchers, we could add activities text. And it says yoga and whatever. And if we pull this over, there it shows. I'm going to change this to what if the stress level is 1, reset. Uh-oh. So I have a bug. So if my stress level is low, I wonder if I spelled stress level wrong somewhere. Low, low, medium, high, low, medium, high, 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 low. Well, I guess I will look and see if I can find the bug and then get right back to you. Let's take a look and see if everything is working. Hopefully everything is working, but let's double check. So we're going to click Run, and we're going to suggest activities. Pick one of the following activities. We're going to change the stress level to high. Yep, different activities. We're going to put the stress level back to 1. We're going to change the happiness. Was there 3 levels of happiness? I think so, right? So happiness to 5. That changed it. Change the happiness to 9. That changed it. We're going to change the stress level to 8. That changed it. Change the happiness to 5. Change the happiness to 1. It would be good to have like a... Wait, I didn't see one of them. Or did I not finish the coding? No, I think I finished the coding. Did I see all the answers? So when you are testing, you always want to make sure that you're seeing every answer that you're meant to have. So I'm going to look really close. So if the stress level is high, and the happiness level is low, I should be seeing guided meditation. Oops. High. Suggest activities. Yes, guided meditation. So if stress level is high and happiness level is high, I should be seeing yoga. Yep. If stress level is medium and happiness level is low, I should be seeing taking a walk. Yep. If stress level is medium and happiness level is high, then I should be seeing exercise. Yep. If stress level is low and happiness level is low, then I should be seeing reading a book. And how did I get to socializing? Well, let's see. That had to be low and high. Low stress level and high. Low stress level, high happiness. So I should be able to get socializing with friends. Yeah, socializing with friends. Okay, so all 6 answers came up. Also, if I change the amount of time to more than 30, it should tell me to choose all 3 activities. Well, more than 30, right? Oh, sorry. I pressed that button again. It's very common. Here are 3 activities for you to try. Okay, so it looks like everything's working there. Let's see our instructions, make sure we did everything. If you aren't getting the output on the app screen you expect, a good next step is to add variables to the watcher area. You most likely want to add activities text. Yeah, you could add that. I already have that in there. Once you've added the appropriate variables to the watcher, use the debugging skills you practiced so far to help you get the program working. Yeah. Okay. This is done, so we're going to click Finish and Continue. And Finish again. And it should take us to the next level, milestone 5 or 6. Continue working through the development sequence with the app that you chose in the previous level. There is a sequence of 6 milestones associated with this practice activity. If you want to change apps, please start back at milestone 1. Make the app your own by implementing your own features. Mine is milestone 6. Okay, let's see. Do this. Look through the possible ways you can continue to modify and extend this app. Then pick one or more to work on. Refactor your code. What's that mean? This program's logic can be written differently. Do you see a way that the same app functionality could be achieved with easier to follow code or with fewer lines of code? You could choose to rewrite some of the conditional logic in a way that makes more sense to you. You could try to refactor this program so the variables stress level and happiness level aren't needed anymore. So yeah, stress level was that low, medium, high? Let's see, stress level, high, medium, low. I mean, you're taking a number, changing it into a word, and then you're doing this comparison with the word. It would probably be easier just to compare against a number, and then you could compare directly against the number that you're using for what the user input. Enhance the user experience. How can we do that? Right now, the text output that the user gets isn't the easiest read. Can you find ways to use the new line character and other pieces to make the text easier for the users to read? Here's one idea of how you might make it appear. Oh, okay, so let's see if we could do that. That's pretty straightforward. So what if we put, like with guided meditation, what if we put a hyphen, a space, and then a hyphen, or minus sign? And then if we did a new line instead of a comma, backspace, new line, and then we have a space, and then a hyphen. Oops, where'd my hyphen go? Hyphen, space, and breathing exercises, and then you could put /n, space, hyphen, space, journaling. All right, let's try that. So high, stress level is high, so run, stress level is high, and happiness level is low. There we go. Oh, there it is. I like that. That looks like something that would be straightforward to do, a little bit of coding precision. Add new features. How would we add new features? Are there other things beyond stress, happiness, and time that would make the suggestions this app provides more useful? Add new elements in design mode to collect this additional user input. Adjust your code to account for this new information in a way that improves the suggestions given. The table in the last step laid out one way to organize which activities get suggested for stress level and happiness level. Do you have a better idea of how the table could be organized to give more useful suggestions? Write out your own table and change the last part of the program code to match your version. Make changes that broke your program. You can use the version history button to backtrack to your previous version. Well, that's nice. Yeah, I have seen the backtrack that you can use version history. So you can just go back to an earlier version. If I click on version history here, you can see I've got all the versions that I worked on. You can see today's date. And there we go. So I'm going to click Finish. There's a lot you could do with this, and this would be a great opportunity to try it out. I think another great thing you could do is do one of the other apps. So if we go back to the app screen, there's also the Velocity app and the Ticks Finder app. If you click on Bubble 2, then you can start at the beginning of whichever of these you would prefer to start on, and you can do that one on your own. You could watch this video again to see exactly, what do you really need to do in each step. There are some small differences in both of those, so there's things to give a little challenge. But before we wrap this up, let's go and look at our next bubble, bubble number 8, and see what that is. AP pseudocode conditionals. Okay, so this is not part of the exercise. So I guess we've done everything. If you appreciate this video to help you get through this lesson, thumbs up, and definitely on your own do one or both of these other apps, because that will really help you understand all of these concepts. All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.